Welcome, y'all. If y'all looking at us and we ain't got no thumbnail or nothing, is because we went live for 16 seconds a minute ago and don't know why. StreamYard put us up, took us down. We ain't even say nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the Hit the Ropes podcast with your girl Delores, just the pink girl in my pink world, here on every social platform with my good brother J News. J News, do you got anything to tell the good people?
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We're back at our regular 1 p.m. Eastern scheduled standard time here for the Hit the Ropes podcast. You'll have to excuse me. I'm battling a little bit of a cold today. So if I sound a little nasally to y'all, that's why. And if I end up coughing and getting dry throat and all that jazz, that's the reason why as well. But it's been a heavy week in wrestling news. We're doing something a little different today. And we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that going forward to add a little bit more to the podcast and things of that nature outside of just the reviews and previews. So hopefully you guys hang along with us. And yeah, let's get the show on the road.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be doing hot topics over here because you know what, you hear us talk about it, but you don't quite see or understand what we're doing. So this time we're going to get a little visual with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get over to the Hit the Ropes Hot Topic studio. Look at it. Look at the wonderfulness of our new studio. J News got his own chair. I got my own chair. Listen, I literally got a Powerade bottle sitting on my desk and it mirrored it on the desk. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hit the Ropes podcast news desk studio. Where we're going to start off with the first slide will be WWE releases. Listen, they released a lot of people. Okay. And we're going to go over some of the names of these people. Nikki Cross, Abel Fire, Zoe Stark, Joe Gacy, Uncle Howdy, which is Bo Dallas, Andre Chase, Dexter Loomis, Eric Warren, Dante Chen, Aleister Black, his wife Zelina Vega, Apollo Crews, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, which is the Motor City Machine Guns, Tyson DuPont, Tariq Igwe, Chris Island, Tyra May Steele, Serena Linton, Trill London, Malik Blade, and Luca Cristofino. J News, what do you feel about these people getting released?
Also have to add in there Kairi Sane and Santos Escobar.
Yes. I had them on there. I don't know why I skipped on it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's all good. The only thing I would have to say about this is that obviously this is unfortunate, right? We all, for those of us who watch wrestling or who've been watching wrestling long enough, we understand that at this time during the year, post-WrestleMania, releases always come. And it seems to be that Black Friday seems to be the Friday right after WrestleMania. And what happened here this past week was that the release information and news cycle started right before SmackDown aired. And I thought that was just inconsiderate isn't the word. And I understand that corporations and companies go through this, for accounting purposes and leveling their books and all that jazz. And, it's still sad to see anyone lose their job. It's still sad to see anyone without work, especially in this economy in the year of 2026. And for these 23, count them, 23 talents from the WWE no longer employed by the WWE. For those of them who had main roster contracts, they have that 91-day period as to which they continue to get paid, and their contracts eventually expire after that 91-day period. For those particular talents, that 91 days, I'll push it a day forward, would be July 24th. for folks who are paying attention and wanting to count the days, that would be July 24th. So July 24th can be the day that any of those main roster release talents can sign with another television wrestling company and make their return to the indies. As for the talents who were signed to like LFG or NXT, they have 31 days as from now. So look out for them by the end of the month of May if you're fans of them. But yeah, like I said, I just feel bad at the end of the day. Don't necessarily ever want to see anybody lose their job outside of, just in general, regardless if it's wrestling or not. And a lot of talented folks on this list. And there's been a lot of discussion about a lot of these folks online via the socials and things of that nature, and where they could possibly go. How what their reactions were online the day that happened and all that jazz. We're just here to give y'all the news and all that and all that. But what do you think about some of the names on this list, Dolores? How do you feel about these releases?
Well, outside of like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think none of them really had storylines, or the people who were brought back, it really didn't progress. Like Zelina was just repeatedly losing. They teamed her with her husband. I think when they try to change her character 2 or 3 times, that's a sign you about to be out of the door. Now, I do understand Zelina had a lot of anger about how the news was broke, and she even cussed Sean Ross Sapp on her live that, you didn't give her the effing opportunity to at least talk to her fans and explain. As she went to go live, the news was dropped. So she wished she had the opportunity, or gave her an opportunity, or reached out to her to say, hey, we about to put this news out. So she could have beat the story and put her own news out, talk to her own fans, where it comes off and it's, for her, it seemed like she was okay with it happening, but the way she felt like Sean put it out was like, oh, all these people got fired. Look at this. And she wanted her fan page to know that she was okay. Unlike the other times, that she has either got fired or Alistair has gotten fired, they now have a business, and that they now are focusing on things not just in wrestling. And so that was her big gripe about it. And I can understand about it, because and for somebody I know, I put it as, what if you had a family member that passed away, and then before you could tell your mom or dad or anybody else, somebody came and just told everybody? That's something you wish you had been able to have a conversation with them and told them yourself. So it's like, I understood her anger. I think she should have been mad at Sean? He was just doing his job. He does it to everybody. I mean, you didn't get mad when he did it to you before, or your husband before. So I just think that you wanted to kind of break the news, kind of, put your business out there, so that people can come and, reach out to you, can, talk to you, can do business with you. I understand that aspect of it, but everybody else, to be honest with you, I think on the list, if I was a business person, I would have fired them. They're not really making me no money. I can't really use them in nothing. I'm not. Kairi saying the Kabuki Warriors thing, her character was, she was just scared of Asuka, and she didn't have a backbone. So she just, yeah. And it's like, then they tried to give her a talking role. I think Monday was the last shot for her to kind of impress them, and they didn't even take it. The machine guns, I wish they were the machine guns of old. Could be WWE booking. Could be that they're just getting older. And it's not the same. And so those type of characters, I can look at this list and not be shocked by nobody who got fired. Normal time is always 1 or 2 people that you like, really? You gonna fire them? This time it's more like the Y6. What are they doing? Initially, it was, when we had the death, it was they were capitalizing off of that and trying to keep the momentum going. But the momentum has died down. We don't really care about the characters no more. So what's the purpose of them? So I'm not shocked that these people got released. The only person I'm truly sad for is maybe Kyrie and Tyra May still, because she really was interested in this. She really wanted this. Like, she was very, very interested in this. But when you think about her character and how she comes off, even outside of interviews, I've seen her outside of interviews or talking on podcasts, she doesn't come off real. She comes off like, and from what I understand, that's just how she is. It's more like, it's like, you walk around like this 24 hours a day, this is annoying. And so I kind of was off on her after I've seen her on a couple of podcasts. She had leading up to that big match. And then after a couple of the podcasts I've seen her on since then, it's like, I understand WWE, you have to sell yourself inside and outside of the ring. And when given the opportunity, you're not selling yourself outside of the ring. What can we use you for? How can we make money with you? Your character's not connecting. You're not connecting as a person. Even as Charlotte, people hate her in the ring. They hate her ring style. But when you see her outside of the ring, sometimes you can connect to her that way. Either you can connect to her in the ring or out of the ring. Cody's the same way. It's just these people just don't have it. Don't mean they're not going to have it anywhere else. You might not just be a good fit for WWE. And to the ones that have repeatedly been fired, this should be a sign for you to never come back. That's all I feel about it. Let's see J News over there. J News, we're gonna get on. About the releases. Are we complete and whole about the releases?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to mention certain long-standing acts that have been with the WWE for almost a decade that got released on this list, like Nikki Cross and Apollo Crews. They've been with the company for a long period of time. Even Alba Fire, aka Kaylee Ray, she's been with the company for a good 8 to 9 years at this point. Because she was I believe she was in the first Mae Young Classic, and it's been a long time since then.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to point those particular acts out because they've had such a long period of time with WWE, and I'm sure it's like I was intimating before. I'm sure everybody on this list is going to land on their feet if they want to stay with professional wrestling, if they want to stick to professional wrestling. I think a lot of the time we hear these individuals' responses to their releases, and they're always talking about their next chapters and things of that nature, not necessarily knowing what these next chapters are going to be or how they're going to look like. You've got about another 90 days to figure that out. There's blueprints now. There's guides now as to how to go about remaking yourself or reinvigorating yourself as a wrestling talent, if that's what you want to stick with. You can always speak or have contact with people like a Cody Rhodes, with people like a Matt Cardona, who did it for about 5 years, people who are on the indies now, like a Karrion Kross or a Shotzi Blackheart. If any of these folks have contact with them, they can get some real thoughtful advice from those talents. If they want to, like I said, if they want to stick with professional wrestling. So I'm sure a lot of these acts will land on their feet. And you mentioned Tyra May Steele, Delores, and I feel like the young lady has a lot of potential and a lot of talent. It's just more her ironing out the kinks, her getting more repetitions and things of that nature. If she wants to stick with professional wrestling, I think that she's definitely a diamond in the rough if anybody else wants to take a chance on her. and if she wants to continue to take a chance on pro wrestling. Outside of that, um, the Santos Escobar thing to me was a little bit redundant. If I'm being specific about any person on this list, redundant in the fact that this is the second time that Santos Escobar has been released from the WWE. He was released 6 months or 5.5 months after the fact that he was re-signed just to keep him away from AEW. And at this point, he's injured. I believe he tore his tricep. They had him appear on AAA about a month.
Yeah, he was doing AAA for a while, and then he got injured.
Yeah, he was. They had finally sent him down to AAA. He then got injured, tore his tricep and things of that nature, and then he's been off of TV. And then now they released him 6 months after the fact that they signed him to a larger money deal just to keep him away from the other from the competition. And I think that to me is just I understand the corporations and companies do that, but it's like if you don't have any plans, if you're not going to use them, what's the point? So I just wanted to say that about the whole Santos Escobar thing, and I understand that most people aren't going to deny big money deals from large corporations and stuff like that. But if they don't really have a plan in place for you, and they just want to give you free money, I think most of the time people are going to take the free money. But if your intention is to be out there, promote yourself, be in the ring, be in the limelight, and be in front of a camera, and that they don't have a plan for you to do that, you got to rethink the big money process and stuff like that. So that's my only thing to say about any specific superstar on this list. But yet again, like I said, it's sad. I feel for those folks who have been affected by these rash cuts of releases. But like I said as well, I'm sure that a lot of them, if they want to stay in professional wrestling, will land back on their feet, because a lot of these folks are super talented and deserve chances to continue their pro wrestling careers. So that's all I have to say about that.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the next hot topic is the disrespect of Sid Vicious. They disrespected my boy at the Hall of Fame. And when I mean disrespected, that means he got a video package. And that's all he got. Nobody talked about him. The family didn't go up there and represent him. They just took a picture of his family and his neighbor, right? It was his neighbor. The shorter stock dude was his neighbor that he grew up with and took care of, because he was not supposed to grow into, not making any puns, but grow to live past a certain age. And so Sid's son, first, before the Hall of Fame, made it clear that there was nobody representing Sid. And then after the Hall of Fame, after the disrespect, wrote a lengthy note to express that he did not like what was done to his father. Yet, to our shock and surprise, and most people who know WWE, because they are petty, they allowed the family to show up to WrestleMania night and stand on stage to represent Sid. J News, what do you feel about the disrespect of Sid Vicious?
Man, like you said, Dolores, the WWE has been known to lie in the bed of retaliation and pettiness, right? Over the years, when Sid was alive, and he went on podcasts and had interviews and things of that nature, he never necessarily had the best things to say about the WWE. And I feel like he was justified in feeling the way that he felt, because he was mistreated and he was a big act, and they really never they made him WWE champion at one point, but they never gave him the ball to run with it, right? And then his untimely passing, I believe, came within the last 2 to 3 years, and people already had felt that he should have been in the Hall of Fame. And when the opportunity came to put him in the legacy wing of the WWE Hall of Fame, fans were excited. I was excited because I was a big Psycho Sid fan as a kid. Psycho Sid, Sid Justice, Sid Vicious, whatever you want to call him, Sid Yulee. And I thought, finally they did the right thing by him. And I felt that they were going to have one of his sons, either his younger son or his oldest son, get up on stage and do a little quick speech, just for representation. But they didn't even do that. And that's where what Delores said, the disrespect came from, and how the sons were treated, how the family was treated, and all that jazz. To me, is just, it's insensitive. It's disrespectful. It's a lot of different things, man. And this is what happens when you don't necessarily have a connection to anybody in that company, right? Or anybody to back you up over there. And that's sad, because I believe that Sid deserved better, better treatment, better aligned respect across the board. And for the WWE, that wasn't it. So that's all I really have to say about that.
As far as his son knew before he came there that this was going to happen. So he notified everybody that they picked nobody to induct him. It was going to be a video package. So on that part, you knew what you were getting into, yet you walked into it and was upset at how it goes. And for those who are saying, he wrote I'm going to read you the exact letter. Thank you to everyone for all the love and support you showed our family. It means the world. And I appreciate every single person who has had my dad's back. Last night, so-called Hall of Fame induction for my father, Sid Udi, Psycho Sid Vicious, was straight up disappointing and disrespectful as hell. I'm glad my dad was big enough to put himself over even in death, because WWE damn sure wouldn't. I didn't see one single ad for my dad from him here in Vegas. The Hall of Fame gift shop had zero merch for my dad, not a damn thing. But they were loaded with all the Dennis Rodman crap you could want. If it felt like they swept him under the rug like a footnote, rushing to get him out of the way. Maybe if he had waited another 20 years until all those jealous, insecure ex-colleagues were gone, one of those could never match his athletic ability, his looks, or his unbreakable will power to them. No, he would have finally gotten in the induction he deserved. Still, I'm trying to stay positive for my son's sake. I wanted to bring him here, and he doesn't know they did his grandpa dirty. He just got to see his hero honored. The moment with my boy made it worth it. And at least we walked away with the Hall of Fame ring. I'm adding pictures of it because there's something solid we can actually hold on to for the rest of this. Felt like a slap in the face. Rest in power, Dad, the master ruler of the world, got his flowers, even if WWE tried to shortchange him one last time. They were all jealous. Congratulations to Bad News Brown and Sid Vicious and Demolition. That's his statement to them. As far as you knew your dad was not getting an induction, so why is it now a slap in the face? When you agreed to it and they asked you, were you showing up, and you said, okay. That's the part what gets me. So you knew this was happening. And also, you said there was disrespect because there was no merch. There was no advertisement, no nothing. Those are things that needed to be addressed or signed up before you got there. Because, am I right, whoever owns Sid Vicious' likeness is the person who could okay this merch and stuff to be made. If you're like me and you were a WCW fan back in the day, I know Sid Vicious for I don't know how many weeks that Kevin Nash came out there and talked in slow mode, fast mode, zoomed in, zoomed out, him breaking his leg. Yes, Sid Vicious was a force. Yes, Sid Vicious should have gotten a better treatment, but also Sid Vicious was a little goofy, little goofy, just a little goof. You know what I'm saying? So we know Sid Vicious by some of the stuff that he said or did that was messed up. not necessarily in his heyday, because his heyday came before we, as most generations of my wrestlers, saw him. My mom probably remember him as Sid Vicious, the person. I remember him as the power bomb, and he broke his leg, and I had to watch that. They made fun of Sid Vicious in WCW. They made fun of him. It wasn't just WWE making fun of him. They made fun of him. So what did you want? Because I know WWE, they're petty. What do you want? Do you want Kevin Nash to come out there, introduce Sid Vicious, and do the slow-mo clip of him breaking his leg again? That's the petty version they could have gave you. They could have gave you the petty version. But instead, they gave you a package. They didn't have to do anything. They could have just been doing like they've been doing, ignoring him. There are 99 other people they could have talked to it. You agreed to show up. You knew what it was. First of all, I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna have to be honest with each other. How many people gonna buy Sid Vicious merch? Is it gonna sell out the building? Or is people gonna buy Dennis Rodman merch? Because you know him from basketball. He's been around Michael Jordan. He's done crazy things. He's been on TV for meeting Kim Jong-un. Come on now. Who do you think they're gonna buy merch of? They're not gonna make 1 million Sid Vicious shirts and signs and stuff, and nobody's gonna buy it. And they probably did the research on the stuff that's already out there to be sold, and it's not selling. We really have to be. We really have to be. That red and yellow man is dead and has done horrific stuff, said horrific stuff. And people are still buying his merch. And guess what? He gets a documentary. He gets more merchandise. He gets video games, different things like that, because he's making the money. Sid is not making the money. And then if you go back and you research Sid and all these interviews and him kicking WWE's back in, would I sell it? Would I sell it? That's my thing about it. I want people nowadays to be more realistic. If I'm a business person and Sid Vicious, no matter how good of a wrestler he was, is not going to make me money, why am I going to be there? They advertised him on Monday night, Tuesdays, SmackDown commercials that Sid was being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Everybody. Bad News Brown, which I know of, but I didn't know of like that. I knew he was going to be inducted. Everybody knew everybody was going to be inducted. What do you want to do? You want Sid to have his own video package? What do you want us to do? And at that point, it's like, to know that you notified media that there was nobody to induct him, there won't be no induction. You showed up. They didn't ask you to come up on stage. They told you to sit in the crowd. They would come and videotape you. And then you wait till after all that's done, you get the ring, and then you say, disrespecting my father. But then the company is so jealous, so hate. He put this statement out after the Hall of Fame. So jealous, so hate. They hate him so bad. But you showed up the next 2 nights for WrestleMania. That's why I don't understand it. If I don't like somebody, I feel somebody that did my mom or my brother or somebody wrong, you won't see me laughing and kicking and hanging out with you backstage. And that was a Triple H shot, pretty much. So at what point do we have to accept that, yes, you might have been hurt. I'm sorry that they didn't treat your father the way you felt, or even other people felt like he should have been treated, but you accepted it. And you kept going back for it. So you must have been okay with it. If you like, okay, when they say, hey, you like, oh, well, I want to pick such and such to be inducted. And they say, well, we're not doing an induction for your father. We're just doing a video package. That's the moment you should have said, this is disrespectful to my father and his legacy. I won't be showing up. But you showed up. You had the experience with your child. You kept showing up for night 1 and 2 of WrestleMania, to stand out there to wave, to have a good time. You understood what it was. Why get mad when it happens? That's all I got to say about it. But on to the next topic, which is not fun, it's sad, is that Really, is these fans going too far? Because we had the CM Punk incident, which you see, and CM Punk wife was reportedly accosted in the hotel lobby. And as you see, which is mixed reports, Bailey was like consoling her, and CM Punk slapped the phone out of the man's hand. Now, this is the point where I feel like, you know what you did. And the fan puts out the footage of him harassing her. This also comes after Damian Priest had to get involved when a fan harassed a female talent and he had to get her away. Janu, do you think the fans are taking it too far at this point?
Fans been taking it too far. If I'm being completely honest with you, I go to conventions on a yearly basis, and just looking at the way that certain people act in comparison to others is like, I'm not sure where the entitlement comes from. I'm not sure why people feel the need to do or act this way or behave this way. I'm not sure what it is that people want from wrestlers outside of just interactions and photos. Like, there's always, and I feel this about just things in life in general. There's a time and there's a place for everything. If I'm going to quote Jade Cargill, she made a very good point during the week. They have meet and greets and signings that they do, that they're contracted to do. Meet the superstars there. Stop accosting and harassing and surrounding talents at their hotels, at the airports, at the gym, at the freaking Dunkin' Donuts, at the Buc-ee's, wherever you see them out in life, outside of a freaking signing. Don't approach these people, because they're just as normal and want to have their normal, everyday, day-to-day lives that you want to have. They're not always going to be prepared to sign a piece of paper or sign a photo or take a photo with you, because it's not the time and the place for them to do that. Because
some of them will ask you, just be respectful. Just like, if you see me with my family, don't walk up on me. But some of them don't mind you asking. Yeah. It's just don't run up with your phone and like, look at you.
Right. Like I said, it's the entitlement thing of it. It's people not understanding the environment that they're in. Yes, ask permission is key, right? Consent is key, right? That doesn't
that word consent is getting a lot of you people locked up.
You know what I'm saying? A consent is key, not just in the legal specter, not just in the harassment and sexual misconduct sector. Consent with a human being is key, right? If people don't consent to you doing something, no matter what it is, touching them, taking a photo, taking video, if they're not agreeing to it, you can't do it, right? So don't act different. Don't act funny when someone reacts a certain way and says, "Hey, did you just take a photo of me without asking me?" Like that. You have to ask, because it's a photo of the person without you talking to the person beforehand. You know what I'm saying? Or, being around them and things of that nature. Yes, fans are taking it too far. Is it every fan? No. But those overly exuberant, overly entitled fans ruin it for the rest of us. Right?
And that's why, if you all do not notice, I'm going to put it up. The wrestlers are the only people in this picture that you see they face. Okay? Because I legally can't put somebody, wrestlers and certain people, they are open celebrities. Okay? Now, I wouldn't put them sitting on the bathroom just because I got a picture of it. But if they're in an incident, I'm only going to put those people. Even when we do pictures of people in the ring or different things, I'm not going to put the surrounding people in the picture, because they didn't ask for that. Now, in WWE land, wherever you are and you don't buy this ticket, they can use your identity in your picture. WWE will use people's clips from their lives, but as a regular citizen, I can't do that. So you walking up harassing his wife, she gets upset. You still zooming and trying to get a picture of his wife. He smacks the phone out your hand, and then your response is, I'm sorry, you must be having a bad day since you lost. I don't know why he acting like this. Also, I'm a little ashamed that my good, I'm not going to say good, but my brother, security guard, was standing there and just let this happen instead of stopping it. That wrestlers are human beings. And even after the fact, CM Punk, they have pictures of him with young children, adults, even after this incident in the same hotel, taking pictures with people who walked up and said, hey, can I take a picture with you? Hey, you know, he hugging them, he's smiling with them, still got his luggage, still being personable. It's the way you go about it. You can't swarm anybody. Just like when I talk about the incident of me finding out or me seeing that Jada Parker and Jey Uso are allegedly, what he said, it together. Okay? It was from a man who recorded them on the meta glasses outside of a building in the dark where he would park behind a building. Talking about, I got hats for you. As the superstar, you come out of a building in the darkness. I mean, it was dark. And you're behind the building trying to get in your car. And somebody go, oh, I got hats for you, man. Can you sign this? I got this. That is terrifying, especially as a woman. And a lot of these male wrestlers take their time, even if they got husbands, wives or whatever, to walk these women to point A to point B because they can't be safe. You had Sonya Deville have a stalker come in her house. You've had people who is it? Seth Rollins. The man thought he had gave Seth Rollins money and tried to attack him in the rap way. It's all these types of things where you see these people doing the most and you are afraid that somebody will take it to their limit. Because you never know when a person is struggling. You never know. I'm a wrestling fan. And because I put it on social media, if I didn't know any better, and only because I know better, if I wasn't in the right mental state of mind, and I'm like, oh, I'm struggling from point A to point B, and somebody's like, hey, I'm Cody Rhodes. Give me $5,000. And it's the last $5,000 I got. I'm like, I love you, Cody. And Cody's like, I'm going to give you 10 back. And remember, I'm not in the right state of mind. And I do this. That will push somebody to hurt Cody, thinking that he really did this thing. And so fans they're not thinking. They're not. Becky Lynch, Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. One lady was online obsessed that Roman Reigns was in love with her. It's been crazy. And I'm thinking to myself, common sense ain't coming in, that you should know that out of the blue sky, Roman Reigns is not going to DM you and tell you he love you. But again, you catch somebody slipping at the wrong time. This is what happens. And don't be offended that now these wrestlers are defending themselves. We used to have people that jump the ring and run in there and then get stomped out. What was the last Hall? Was not the last, but the time before, like 2 times before that, the Hall of Fame where was it Dax, that one that knocked that man silly? Yeah. So at a certain point, stop messing with these wrestlers. And then the fact that I think I saw today when I was doing the picture that 911 was called because your phone got slapped out of your hand when you did wrong in the first place is the problem. Learn to do better, wrestling fans. Learn to do better. Now we're on to the last hot topic for today. And it's my good brother, Cody Arnthal Luther Rhodes. And that is towed up. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you wondering, Delores, why is this in black and white? Because YouTube don't let us do blood too much. You know, I can only go so far. And this was going to be too far. So as you say in the first part, next to the title Cody's Eye, it's Randy knocking him so hard he went black and white. And then you see how his eye looked immediately after. Man can barely see a peep of a peep. And then you saw him on Monday Night Raw, where Cody looked toe up. This is pec level Cody. When he came out and showed his pec, that's what his eye looked like. So J News, what did you feel about Cody and his?
I mean, for all intents and purposes, I feel like this was an accident, because when I was watching the show, at least from my vantage point, from my perspective, I felt like Randy, it felt like, or at least not felt it, I visualized it when visualizing the footage. It seemed like Randy pulled the kick, but obviously Cody's face doesn't show that. So he didn't pull that at all. Cody's eye and the socket and everything else in between got all swollen and bruised up and bloodied and all that.
I think they took, like, you know how you have the scarring? I think they took cut the scarring, like the thick scarring, off so he could open his eye. Because if you notice, I think the night before Monday Night Raw, he took a picture, it's online, of him and some fans, and it's a whole black piece over his eye. But you can kind of see where it's outlined, where they opened it so he could see. And it's like, Cody, I would just skip Monday Night Raw. It wasn't that serious. And him and Cody and CM Punk, first of all, the fact that they referenced the phone slap, that's why they're back to back as Hot Topics, was hilarious, because he's like, I thought you would been a little bit more upset from what I saw. And then you got CM Punk look at him in the eye like, your eyes toe up. It is toe up. Like they had an eventful 24 hours, the both of them, and they somehow put it together to have this little face off. But Cody, stop doing this. Stop doing it. It's like Cody was looking. I think the mistake when you look back at the video, Cody was looking at the foot coming, and he thought he could turn his head quick enough to get his eye out of the way where he just get kicked on the side of the face. And he didn't turn quick enough. And that boot caught him right in the eye. And that's what the picture you see there, where he's just like, he is immediately like, good God. And he's turning his head away. But the punt was gone. And somebody said, I waited since 2020, so 6 years, for him to punt somebody in the head. And that's going to be banned again. Cody, you just had to mess it up. You just had to mess it up for me. So.
Yeah, it could have been worse for him. Unfortunately, he was able to, his bruising and swelling and things of that nature. Thankfully, he didn't have to, there was no orbital bone injury and stuff like that. And he didn't lose his eye, thankfully. So, it looked bad. It was pretty bad. So, shouts to Cody for continuing to push the pace, as they say, and always wants to be on every show and be there for the fans and everything else in between. And that's admirable. But when things like this happen, hopefully there was some hashing out, there was some clarity to the situation, so you know what to do or what not to do the next time around, so that this sort of thing doesn't happen. Does it work for storyline purposes? Does it add to the quote unquote toughness of one Cody Rhodes? Maybe. But for right now, that was just an ugly piece of business from the looks of it, right? Not from anything personal or whatever. But
if I was Cody, I owe Randy a receipt for this. Okay, I owe Randy many receipts. Even that receipt from when he tells that story about Randy pulling the toilet away from the wall, and then when they had a meeting, Cody is seeing him rip it away from the wall, And then they had this meeting, and Cody doesn't say anything. He was like, well, I saw Cody in there. I saw Cody rip the toilet away. And Cody was like, son, that was not me. That was you. And he was like, I saw him. And I think Cody needs to learn from this. And Cody's like, I'm getting in trouble full time for something I saw you do. And Randy chuckles, and I'm thinking to myself, Randy, you led Cody in a pathway where this man was not right. Also, WrestleMania, this is not gonna reflect J News, and J News shouldn't say anything after I say this. As a female, Cody, you did too much with them statues that you had of your outfits. Okay, the lower half, you made it very visible for everybody to see. And I was looking at like, Cody, listen, I don't know you like that, but you didn't have to do them statues like that. It could have just been a regular statue with your clothes on, but you had to make the extremities at the bottom very big. Okay? Didn't need that. But that goes the way he said, they don't call him Cody. Okay. Let you have it. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of Hot Topics for us. You already know, because we always whiz through the results. Sometimes the shows don't have too many matches we like on them. But we always going to have some hot topics for you where we're going to get into it, talk about it. Me and Jay do. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we won't. But you will let us know in the comments what you think about these certain hot topics. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Podcast. Well, we're over here, ladies and gentlemen, me and Jay News. We're going to go all the way to the back. Bye. And we're going to start off with a review. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going starting with WWE as a company. We're going to start off with Monday Night Raw, episode 1717 on the 20th on Netflix. We saw the last match for Kairi Sane, but we saw Io Sky and Rhea Ripley defeat the Kabuki Warriors of Asuka and Kairi Sane. Ethan Page made his debut on Raw, defeating Javon Evans. We had a non-title match where Liv Morgan defeated Sol Ruka, and we had Finn Balor defeating JD McDonough. What did you think about this, J News?
From storyline standpoint, this was the last Rio match we'll be seeing for a while. Rhea Ripley will be going over to SmackDown to be the women's world champion over there and defend her belt against the women's division over there. Kairi Sane is staying on Raw from a storyline perspective. Like you said, Ethan Page made his main roster debut on Raw, and so did Sol Ruka. We'll talk about Sol in a minute when we talk about NXT. But Sol Ruka is also going to be on Raw going forward. And the only thing that I remember from an interaction standpoint that happened on Raw was that they teased another or something in the future between Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. And Rhea Ripley's words were that she's looking forward to that head-to-head interaction with Liv Morgan sometime down the road. Outside of that, everything else was pretty solid for Raw after Mania. Bunch of NXT call-ups that were made between Raw and SmackDown. So yeah, that was Raw.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, J News is going to come back to the back with me. And then now we're going over to NXT, ladies and gentlemen. NXT was on the next night on the 21st. It was episode 834 on the CW. It was Revenge Week 2. We had WWE NXT North American title match where Miles Bourne defeated Deion Lennox. We had
Keanu Carver.
I was over here choking. Keanu Carver defeat Joe Hendry by referee's decision. For the WWE Speed Title Tournament final match, we had Lexis King defeating EK Prosper to win the championship. For the WWE Women's North American Title Casket match, which I enjoyed a little bit too much, Tatum Paxley defeated Blake Monroe. The last women's standing match, Zarya defeated Sol Ruka. What J News? What did you think about this show?
The last two women's matches were the matches of the night. Um, So Ruga took a pretty nasty bump to end the night. Threw some tables there. The back of her, or the top of her head, towards the back of her head, scraped another table. She ended up having to get some staples in her head because she opened up a gash. She did. Fortunately, she did not have to go through concussion protocol. She was okay outside of getting the staples in her head. But I feel like Zarya and Sol Ruka did the damn thing, and they finally were able to close that particular chapter in their feud there on NXT. Now Sol Ruka will be on Raw full time, as Zarya will probably be one of the lead ladies on NXT going forward. Tater beating Blake Monroe in the casket match made all the sense in the world because it just seemed like Blake Monroe was what they call in wrestling, Blake Monroe's booking was more or less 50-50 booking. Half the time she loses, half the time she wins. She's really more there for her character work than anything else. If you like that, if you like Blake Monroe's character, then more power to you. Continue to be a fan and everything else in between. I haven't really gravitated towards what she's been doing on NXT. So she's now Blake Monroe. That is, when we talk about SmackDown, you'll understand Blake Monroe's going to be going to SmackDown full time. This is her last match on NXT, I believe, as she will be going to SmackDown full time. And the rest of the show was more or less just there, really. So that was NXT for me.
Yep, I would agree. I just enjoyed the last two matches overall, and some of the promos and backstage stuff felt like it was just a lot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to SmackDown. SmackDown took place on the 24th, which was Friday, episode 1392 on the USA Network. We have for the WWE Women's United States title match, a title change because Tiffany Stratton won against Julia. We have for the WWE Women's Tag Team title match, Brie Bella and Paige versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair end in a no contest. We have for the WWE Tag Team title match, Damian Priest and R-Truth defeated the MFTs of JC Mateo and Tonga. We had Danhausen defeating The Miz. Oh my God. I don't wish for nobody to. I love Danhausen. Let me clarify that. I'm an obsessed Danhausen fan. Watch his YouTube. Has been on his Twitch. I love Danhausen, but I don't think Danhausen fits in mainstream wrestling stuff. If he does serious wrestling like R-Truth, but he's a jokester, yes, but he's a joke, and then the wrestling comes after him. That's the problem. We had a non-title match where Rhea Ripley defeated Jacy Jayne by DQ. We had Jacob Fatu defeating Sola Sokoa. Generals, did you see this, and what did you think about it?
So SmackDown started with Tiffany Stratton defeating Julia. The WWE has not been able to do much to increase Julia's profile. They attempted to make her Women's United States Champion 2 times, and they haven't really booked her into a prominent position in the mid card. I'm not necessarily sure if that has to do what that has to do with, to be quite honest. So Tiffany Stratton here becoming the United States Women's Champion is fine. Tiffy's one of their younger girls who has a very strong fan base, and I guess that in the WWE marketing machine has already made her into a star of a certain profile above of Julia. So
she's
putting the belt,
Charlotte.
Well, yeah, yes and no, but
they love a good blonde-haired, well-endowed woman.
I guess.
Think about most of the most popular women that sold merch, even back in the day. They were mostly blonde-haired or well endowed, or both. Stable. Even at a certain time, China became that way because she was well endowed. She was a blonde. Lita, Trish Stratus,
Mhm.
Stacy Keebler.
No, I understand your point. I just, Tiffy is, she's very athletic. Her wrestling is good, to great at times when she wants to be on and whatnot. I just feel like the WWE hasn't known what to do with Julia, so that's my point there. The women's tag division right now, they've got to figure that out as to how or where they're going to go with it. Damian Priest and R-Truth are still the tag team champions. The MFTs are still around. There's still a thing, which to me is like I don't even know what to do with that right now. I feel like they've neutered freaking Jeff Cobb and Tamatanga and Tangaloa and freaking Hikuleo, but it is what it is. You getting a paycheck, right? I guess you just do
Do
what
you
you're told.
think Jacob will eventually get help, or there will be someone added to the team? The only reason why I ask is, and I've been telling people, there was a point where Jacob came to WWE and his former partner Zilla was nowhere to be found socially. Recently, they've been doing more like Zilla mentions him more, and then they had a video where they worked out together. And they were hanging out and having fun. And I was looking and I was like, normally that doesn't happen unless, because WWE is very, strict about the certain things that normally doesn't happen unless there's some kind of thing that's about to happen between the two of them, as far as either a storyline or even like, because Zilla mentioned a lot of the time in the video, I got your bag, he's like a brother to me. And I kept thinking to myself, like, will Zilla ever have somebody, or will this person turn against him? Or because they work well together as a tag team. I just don't know if WWE is ready to pull the trigger.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I think Zilla's still a little bit of a ways away from joining the WWE. That's just my personal perspective. That has nothing to do with the hard work and dedication that that Zilla's been putting in on the Indies. But I don't think he's anywhere near getting to the WWE as of right now. As for Jacob's going to continue to be a solo act amongst the ranks of his cousins and on either on the MFT side or the Bloodline side. He stands out on his own. I don't think that Jacob should be joining anybody's faction anytime soon. They've done well to break him away from that, and I feel like the WWE should continue that, and Jacob should continue that. I disagree with you about Danhausen, Dolores. I think Danhausen fits the WWE product quite well, and he does his comedy bits, and he doesn't really wrestle as much. He's really there to sell merch and do his comedy bits, and his style or what it is that he does for professional wrestling works perfectly with the WWE. He's in the right place because AEW was not going to use him in the way that the WWE has just in the last 5 weeks.
I probably because I've met Danhausen on Indies as a wrestler who just had a comedy bit. That now that he's doing comedy and wrestling is just a secondhand thing. It's like that's why the frustration comes from me, because I've seen him as a true wrestler who just happened to be funny to now he's just funny and happens to be a wrestler. That's a total change.
That's the way the WWE is going to lean at the end of the day, which is why I've always been frustrated with the way they've always booked Ron Killings. But at the end of the day, Ron's Ron, and he gets respect for what it is that he does. So, but Ron, for a long period of time, R-Truth is championship material, and not just because he's funny, but because Ron's one of the best, and they just never profiled him that way. But as for Danhausen, that's not his profile. At the end of the day, his profile is being funny dude first, wrestler second. and selling merch. So that's the way Danhausen is going to make his money, and that's fine. As for Rhea Ripley defeating JC Jane, we see more NXT call-ups this episode of SmackDown. The entire faction of Fatal Influence is now on SmackDown. That's JC Jane, Fallon Henley, and Lainey Reed. They're on SmackDown going forward. They had video montages for Ricky Starks coming to SmackDown, for Mariah May, or should I say Blake Monroe coming to SmackDown. So that is a thing going forward for those NXT talents that will be full-time on SmackDown. And yeah, it seems like Jacob's having all-out war against all the other Bloodline members and the MFTs. So he's still at war with Solo and the MFTs, and then he's vying for the World Heavyweight Championship, as he's now gonna go to war against Roman Reigns and the Usos at the end of the day. So
I think his promo on, was it Monday, was very like, you could feel why you want to get behind him. He's like, well, I got kids to feed and I got things to do. And then, but I also, WWE, for the sake of all gods, please stop using his jail time as a storyline. Like, you keep throwing this up in this man's face. I know it's fake storyline, but the fact that you all keep mentioning it makes my skin crawl. Because it's like, okay, I understand it. I understand when he says that I come from this struggle and I'm getting better. I understand that. But even Cody mentioning it made my skin crawl. It's the fact that we keep using this as a weapon. You know, with AJ Lee, it was that she was crazy. We can go list to list where they take somebody's real life and turn it into a storyline where somebody jabs them with it. I'm just done with it. Overall, I enjoyed the call-ups. I feel like there are more women call-ups here, but I think the women division, I like it more on SmackDown, especially with Rhea doing it, than I do Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is more like I want to see the men's division a little bit more, women's division on SmackDown. So
can't forget Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry, I believe, will be on Raw going forward. So
yeah, so that's why I said I think the men are like mostly on SmackDown. Mostly on Raw, and then on SmackDown it'll be most of the women and the good women's matches that we see. Ladies and gentlemen, on to the next thing. Me and Jay News, we're gonna go to the back. Back in the back we go. Hey T, it is Triple that is how you pronounce it, Jay News?
Yeah.
Lucha Libre Road Ride. They came on yesterday on YouTube. Episode number 15. It was La Parca, Rey Fenix defeating Money Machine Camilo de Plata. Did I say that right?
Yep.
And Gara de Oro.
Mm-hmm.
El Grande Americano and El Texano.
Tejano. It should be
Tejano.
Yeah.
Defeated El Macias and Mecha Wolf. Non-title match with El Hijo del Dr. Wagner Jr. defeating Laredo Kid. They've been keeping these short. It's mostly like promo backstage stuff. You know, they keep it too short. I like that they keep it short and sweet and let the major shows be the big part of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on to AEW All Elite Wrestling, and we're on to Dynamite first. Dynamite episode 342 on the 22nd, TBS, HBO Max. We had Brody King defeating Leo Rush. I like this match. Not as much as I thought I would, but I really like this match. Hikaru Shida defeated Mina Shirakawa. Mark Davis defeating Will Ospreay by referee's decision. Samoa Joe defeated Cody Chun. And for the AEW World Title match, Darby Allin defeated Tommaso Ciampa. Jay News, what did you think about this show overall?
Yeah, I thought it was another excellent episode of Dynamite for AEW. They continue to let Leo Rush run with his new persona / gimmick / character. The wrestlers that he's facing are helping him get the new character and persona over, even in losses. Lio Rush has yet to win a match within the new gimmick, but the new gimmick continues to grow and evolve. I think this is not the final version of this gimmick. I feel like there's going to be an evolution to this gimmick for Lio Rush as well. So we'll see as to what happens there. So that's interesting. Brody King with the win here gets himself his 7th win in a row from a storyline and wins and losses perspective. So that puts him back into title contention. He came out later on in the night to say to have some words with Darby, and I'll get to that when I get to that match. Hikaru Shida versus Mina Shirakawa was an interesting match. It was solid. Wasn't anything to write home about necessarily, but that continues the storyline of Mina Shirakawa not being trustful, or not being trusting, should I say, of Hikaru Shida and her intentions, especially when it comes to Chris Statlander. So there's something brewing there. Hikaru Shida will eventually turn heel, I believe, but I think, just from my own perspective, I also think Chris Statlander will as well, but for different reasons. So we'll see as to how that develops. Mark Davis versus Will Ospreay was a banger match between those two. The referee's decision stoppage, I thought, was a good call for them to do there. When the match was over and the referee had stopped the match, Mark Davis is going to go to continue to beat down Will Ospreay with other members from the Don Callis family. Out came the Death Riders, John Moxley, Marina Shafir, Danny Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio Castagnoli came out to fend off the DCF, and they took Will Ospreay away to the back, and they ran a promo bit as to what happened with Will Ospreay and the Death Riders in the back on Collision. So I'll talk about that when we get there. But that's an interesting development from a storyline standpoint as to where Will Ospreay is going, what the intentions of the Death Riders are with Will Ospreay, and so that's that. Samoa Joe made his return to AEW TV. He beat local talent Cody Chun. Samoa Joe had an interaction with Hook on stage after his win, and then had a later interaction with Anthony Bowens, who confronted Hook about officially becoming a member of the Ops. Samoa Joe told or reiterated to Anthony Bowens what Hook had said to him, that there are no more vacancies in the Ops. But Samoa Joe decided that Anthony Bowens is going to be a new member of the Ops, and it seems like Hook didn't agree with Samoa Joe's decision, because Samoa Joe is the leader of the Ops, not Hook. So I feel like they're creating a rift and dissension there between Samoa Joe and Hook. So we'll see as to how that develops in the coming weeks and months. And then the AEW title match between Darby Allin and Tommaso Ciampa was one of the best TV matches of the year. Tommaso Ciampa, like I said before, and I've said it other places, just doesn't know how to have a bad match. Tommaso Ciampa seems built for the AEW structure, for the AEW fan base. It's just banger after banger after banger, and Darby Allin being the AEW champion just exudes the alternative. And for what they have going on right now, I feel like Darby Allin as champion, as short as the run is going to be, has been a good idea. After the match was over, Tommaso Ciampa showed respect to Darby Allin. Out walks Brody King. Brody King then lets Darby Allin know, hey, I won my match today. I told you I'm proud of you, but I'm not that proud of you. I'm not proud enough of you where I don't think violence isn't going to help out. So give me a title shot. So this Wednesday coming from Virginia, it's going to be Darby Allin 1-on-1 against Brody King for the AEW World Championship. And I wanted to make sure to comment that the opening segment for Dynamite had Kevin Knight and MJF in that segment. Kevin Knight wanted to have a one-on-one matchup with Kevin Knight right then, and Kevin Knight wanted to have a one-on-one matchup with MJF right then and there. And I thought that their trading back and forth from a promo perspective was very good. And I felt like Kevin was able to hold his own against MJF. So I thought that the opening segment did really well for both guys. MJF pulled an MJF. They got a referee out there ready to ring the bell. They held up the TNT Championship, and then once the bell rung, MJF dipped out of the ring, and he tells Kevin Knight, "I'll see you next week, bud. You're not gonna do to me what they did to me with Darby Allin." So this coming Wednesday, we're going to see a match between MJF and Kevin Knight for the TNT Championship. So we'll see how that all develops. But I thought it was a really good episode of Dynamite this week.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're on to the next show, which is Ring of Honor ROH. Ring of Honor ROH was episode 163 on the 23rd. You can find it at ROHWrestling.com or the ROH app. We had the premier athletes, Ari Daivari and Story Dadali, Tony Nese, defeat, and Angelica Risk, Brandon Cutler, and Terry Kidd. We had Mark Davis defeat Beef with the MXM TV, which is Johnny TV, and Mansoor and Mason defeat Angel Fashion, Keegan Garland, and the main man Oro. We had a Pure Rules match where Diamante defeated Rachel Ellering. We had the Spanish Announce Project along with the Colognes. Spanish Project is Angelico and Serpentico. The Colognes are Eddie and Orlando Colon. Defeat the Frat House of Cole Carter, Griff Garrison, Jack Jameson, and Preston Vance. We had Billy Starks defeat Hanan. We had the Swirl of Blake Christian and Lee Johnson defeat Adam Priest and Tommy Billington. Just my 2 cents of it. I'm going to repeat this. I want everybody to make their money, but the Frat House needs to go. They got to go at this point. I'm sick of them seeing on my ROH TV because it seems like they're not going anywhere, but they keep losing. As far as, I think it's about time for some people to move up. Like, let's have some stuff with Mansoor and Mason on regular, main roster AEW. I've been shouting that I need Billy Starks to come to the main roster because if you've ever seen her on any HOG, GCW, any other shows, she has this badass character who doesn't take anything, and she is ruthless. And I think that would go great on the main roster. So, J News, what did you think about this show in particular?
I wasn't able to watch this. I saw some clips here and there as to what transpired during the week. You can also catch ROH on My AEW for folks who are international and stuff like that. You can go to myaew.com and you can catch the weekly episodes of ROH there as well. Just as an aside. But I agree with you. There's certain talents at ROH that I feel should be going up to AEW TV. I wonder how it would look for Billy Starks up there. There's obviously Athena. Athena's always a standout. A lot of fans want her to be on AEW TV a lot of the time. We see a lot of these talents off and on AEW TV. The Swirl has been on AEW TV off and on for the last several months. The Adam Priest and Tommy Billington, I feel, should be getting some more play as well as a tag team on AEW TV as well. But I'm sure that'll come with time. I think this is like the second or third time I've seen the Colognes be a part of ROH TV. So it seems like they have recurring roles on ROH as of right now as well. So that's a positive because the Colognes have always been a good tag team. And Diamante still etching her lane out in this Pure Rules women's division after defeating Rachel Ellering here. Rachel's been with the company now for several years, and she's been used mostly as an enhancement talent. They haven't really necessarily used her to do much else. I want to see her do more because I've seen and watched Rachel's work on the indies, and I think she's pretty good, to be quite honest. Just having to find maybe some sort of attitude change or character that she would want to get sink her teeth into. I think that'll be something to look into for her because she's definitely talented in the ring. So that's something I feel like AEW can pay attention to within going into the future. And yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to say about ROH for this week.
Yes, yes, yes. J News is coming back to the back with me. We're going to go on to something that happened on yesterday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's AEW Collision. Ladies and gentlemen, AEW Collision. It was episode 141 on the 25th. It was called, and it was also on TNT, it was called Playoff Palooza 2026. We had the AEW World Trios title match where the conglomeration consisting of Kyle O'Reilly, Urge Cassidy, and Roderick Strong defeated the Don Callis family of Andrade El Idolo, Hechicero, and Lance Archer. We had the Triangle of Madness, which is Sky Blue and Thekla defeating Alex Windsor and Persephone. We had the Demand of Bishop Kong, Ricochet, and Toa Leona defeating Chris Jericho and the Hurt Syndicate of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. We had the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, Daniel Garcia, Willa Yuta, and the Dogs of Clark Connors and David Finlay defeat the Rascals, Desmond Xavier, Myron Reed, Zachary Wentz, and the Young Bucks of Matt and Nick Jackson. We had Roosh defeat Adam Priest, Chris Statler defeat Becca. We had for the AEW National title match, Jack Perry defeating El Colon. J News, did you see this yesterday? And what did you think? Because I kind of enjoyed a lot of this.
Yeah, another solid episode of Collision. As per the storyline aspect of certain things that were going on the show, I mentioned during Dynamite that Will Ospreay was taken out of the ring to the back by the Death Riders. They played the video segment, the video backstage segment, where basically I'm paraphrasing here or summing it up, where Jon Moxley had the Death Riders basically stand on guard and put Will Ospreay in a chair, and Jon Moxley was basically asking Will Ospreay, "What is it that you're looking to do here?" Wanting to understand what Will Ospreay's goal and purpose coming back to AEW is, outside of wanting to break Jon Moxley's neck. Like, what are you aiming for? What is it that you want to do? And Jon Moxley went on, I think it was like a good 2.5 minute promo to get to that point. And then they did not hurt Will Ospreay back there. Will Ospreay then shoved away the camera guys who were back there at that time, as it seems like Will Ospreay was going to have like a one-on-one conversation with Jon Moxley. So that's a developing storyline going into the next weeks and coming months on AEW. We shall see as to how that all develops as well. So yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. They had a video package for Willow Nightingale, basically stating that she is the comeback killer. So right now they had Willow off of TV this week, but they cut that particular video package promo for her there. So I feel like AEW is looking for other talents to come in and basically do an open challenge type thing with Willow. If they can't get any of their other ladies to return to AEW TV, the ones who haven't been on AEW TV for more than, I would say, 5 to 6 months at this time. It could be an Anna Jay, it could be a Ruby Soho, it could be a Britt Baker, it can be brand new women's talent as well, unsigned women's talent as well, to come in and face off with Willow Nightingale. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Mercedes Moné. Keep a keen eye out as to when Willow shows up on TV again for AEW TV, as to who she will be facing off with next. As for the matches, I thought it was a fun match. For the trios, the AEW trios world title match between the conglomeration and the Don Callis family. The Triangle of Madness of Sky Blue and Thekla, they beat Alex Windsor and Persephone in a hard-hitting affair. I thought Alex Windsor and Persephone looked real good together, to be quite honest. But they gave Jamie Hayter the week off. They said it in the sense that Jamie Hayter was banged up. Hopefully Jamie's okay. Jamie stated online, outside of it being her birthday week, and thanking everybody for her birthday for birthday wishes. She said that she was only going to be gone for this week, and then she should be back on TV next week. But Persephone showed out during this tag match here on AEW TV proper, outside of ROH. So hopefully we see more Persephone on AEW TV, and Sky Blue and Tekla did their thing as a tag team there to defeat those ladies. But they did have help from Julia Hart, as Julia Hart spit the black mist into Persephone's face, and they played the numbers game against Alex Windsor at the end of the day. So that feud's not over as of yet. The Demand versus the Hurt Syndicate and Chris Jericho was okay for the most part. The Hurt Syndicate works well with the boys from the Demand, that being Bishop Khan, Toliona, and Ricochet. Chris Jericho didn't look bad in this match, but Chris Jericho was the one who ate the pin here yet again in this match. So we'll see as to what the Chris Jericho or the Jericho storyline continues to be, as he continues to eat pins since coming back.
He can't leave nobody. The storyline with most Jericho factions or people he with, he can't lead. He's not a good leader. And every time he tries to, I got this, it goes wrong.
No, I mean, we'll see. I mean, he's not leading a faction in this case. It was just business, quote unquote, with the Hurt Syndicate. So I'm not too sure as to where they're going with the Jericho character right now. But there's some intrigue there now that he's taken 2 losses in a row, and has had Ricochet pin him with his own move. So there's that going down. The Death Riders and the Dogs versus the Rascals and the Young Bucks was a great PWG style tag match. I finally saw the homie Desmond Xavier get out of half speed and wrestle at a good rate and wrestle at a good pace, man. So props to him for doing that.
He heard you last week and he was like, I'm gonna show you I can get out of this.
Yeah, man. It's like, dude, like it just had to go up a little bit, not even that much. It just doesn't have to be a million miles an hour. But he picked up the pace and he looked good. Myron Reed's incredible. Zachary Wentz hitting shots and doing things. The Young Bucks are at their best right now, man. And it's incredible. This long into their careers, they're looking their best. And the Death Riders were working as well as they could with the Dogs, mind you. Clark Connors, David Finlay looking good as well. So as they continue to unfurl their status in AEW. Roosh defeated Adam Priest in another hard-hitting affair. They made sure on Collision to promote the fact that Roosh is going to be in action again on Dynamite in another one-on-one encounter against who we don't know, but he will be in action. So it seems like AEW is making a concerted effort to push Roosh as a singles competitor right now. So if we see Roosh in any sort of a title picture sometime soon, that would be cool. Chris Statlander defeated Becca in a very competitive affair. Becca looking really good against Chris Statlander here in a short match. Wasn't anything long, but Becca looked really good against Chris Statlander here. Becca being one of the I believe Becca was one of the Lodestone girls that has worked with Bailey either in Florida or in Vegas over the week. So Becca taking her training tips and everything else in between to heart, especially here getting a shot on AEW TV. She posted online, did Becca, saying that she wants to run that match back against Chris Statlander, and Chris Statlander said any time. So we might be seeing more of Becca on AEW TV in the next coming weeks and months to see if she can land herself a deal. And then Jack Perry and El Clone had a very fitting matchup, as I want to say. El Clone doing his innovative in-ring stuff. Jack Perry continuing to evolve his babyface, this new babyface version of his character and whatnot. And Jack Perry basically winning by the skin of his teeth. But it was a really, really good match between the two for the national title. They still don't have they still don't have a lane or an avenue created for Jack Perry and the national title as of yet. But if he just continues to have banger matches, the hope is that creative figures something out for Jack as he continues to be AEW national champion. So yet again, like I said, it was another solid episode of Collision. And the only other promo bit that I want to talk about was FTR opened up the show. They came out to accept the challenge that Adam Copeland put out during Dynamite, which I did mention. Adam Copeland put out a challenge to FTR where he challenged FTR to a New York City street fight at Double or Nothing. But he's also putting the tag team careers of Cope and Christian on the line in order to bait FTR. FTR came back and they accepted that bait for the New York City street fight at Double or Nothing, but FTR added a little bit of their own stipulation to it. Not only are the tag team careers of Cope and Christian on the line, but they said that the match is now going to be not just a street fight, but a last person standing match, or last tag team standing match. Or no, I'm not last person standing, an I Quit match. Sorry. So it's going to be a street fight I Quit match, just for the levels of embarrassment. So we shall see as to how that turns out for Double or Nothing. But I wanted to mention that just in case anybody wanted to be caught up in what the storylines were on AEW TV going forward.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go on to Jay News's absolute not favorite place, TNA. Beginning not be my favorite place either. TNA Impact. It was episode 1136 on the 23rd on AMC. We had Nick Nelman defeating Bear Bronson. We had Dutch defeating Matt Hardy. We had Elena Black defeating Kate Arquette. And we had for the TNA World Title match, Mike Santana defeating Rich Swann. I enjoyed the last match. I could have did without everything else and all the promos and video packages that they had with it. I thought we were going to do better TNA. It seemed like we're going backwards. Jay News, did you see any clips of this?
Nah.
Okay. I wish I hadn't seen none of this either. But Jesus, we're going to move on. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going on to Wrestling Revolver. It was on yesterday on Triller TV. It was Revolver Strong, ladies and gentlemen. So you can watch that on Triller TV. Jake Chris defeated Gringo Loco for the Revolver World Tag Team title match. We had Ty or Die, KJ Reynolds, and Ryan Mathis defeat the Outbreak of Abel Booker and Jackson Crowley to win the championship. We had EC3 defeat Allen Angels. We had the Elimination Games match where the algorithm of Brett Oakley and Joe Alonzo defeated Alpha Sig, which is Dick Myers and KJ Reynolds, along with BDE. It had Crash eliminating Myers and Reynolds, BDE eliminating Crash, and Oakley eliminating BDE. For the Revolver 24/7 title scramble match, yes, it's just like the 24 title that WWE had. Big Pound defeated Amangza, his name. Connor Knox, Harley Rock, Jeffrey John, Judge Joe, Dredd, and Troy Parker. Ladies and gentlemen, we saw Rich Swann defeat Damian Chambers. Revolver World title match, Mance Warner won the title by defeating Cruel. We had Gangers retirement match where Lex Cologne, everybody's a Cologne now, it's a popular name in the Indies, defeated Ganger. So Homeboy has to retire, but the fact that he made the retirement match let me know he was already going to retire. JD, did you see any clips from this show on yesterday?
No, ma'am.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're on to Jay News is part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where he gonna talk about New Japan Wrestling, okay? So Jay News, we're gonna talk about the road to Dontaku, okay? Starting with, sorry for cut it off. It was day 2. This is day 2.
Yeah, day 2 was on the 24th, which was a couple of days ago. Pre-show match, we had Jacob Austin Young defeat Taisei Nakahara, the newest of the Young Lions. Masatori Yasuda, Taichi, and Yuri Uemura defeated 6-9 of Master Wato, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Tetsuya Matsumoto. House of Torture members Chase Owens, Sho Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. They defeated the Great Bash Heels of Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hama, along with Shota Umino and Yo. The United Empire's Francisco Akira and Jake Lee defeated the Unbound Coast Gato and Yoda Tsuji. Aaron Wolf, Oleg Bolton, and Toru Yano defeated House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Ren Narita. Shingo Takagi had a special one-on-one match versus Zane J, where he defeated Zane J. Callum Newman had a special singles match where he defeated Daiki Nagai. The Unbound Co's Oscar, Robbie X, Taiji Ishimori, and Yuto Ice defeated TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. IWGP Tag Team Title No. 1 contendership match. We had Bishiman of Hiroki Goto and Yoshihashi defeated the United Empire's Great Khan and Hanare. We then go on to okay, my bad. That was not on the 24th. That was on the show from the 20th or the 22nd, one of the two. On to the show from the 24th, we had Master Yasuda, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Taichi defeat Great Bash Heel, Togi Makabe, and Tomoaki Hama, along with Taisei Nakahara. United Empire's Great Khan, Hanare, and Jacob Austin Young defeated Goto Revolutionary Army of Hiroki Goto, Tatsuya Matsumoto, and Yoshihashi. House of Torture members Chase Owens, Dick Togo, Doki Sho, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru defeated. Should I say they defeated? Because this is just the matches. Hold on one second, folks.
Yeah. Which one are you on? At a double count out one.
I'm sorry. That ended the double count out. I'm sorry. I didn't read that correctly. My apologies, folks. So the House of Torture match versus members of Hantai, Master Wato, Shota Umino, Tiger Mask, Toru Yano, and Yo. That ended in a double count out. I believe during this match, they unmasked Tiger Mask, and Tiger Mask ended up cutting a promo with a towel on his face to challenge Doki to a special singles match, which is going to be for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, Ryohei Oiwa defeated Unbound Co's Gato, Robbie X, Taiji Ishimori, and Yoda Tsuji. Unbound Co's Daiki Nagai, Oscar, Shingo Takagi, and Yuto Ice defeated United Empire's Callum Newman, Francisco Akira, Jake Lee, and Zane J. Aaron Wolf, Oleg Bolton, and Yuri Uemura defeated House of Torture members Don Fale, Ren Narita, Yujiro Takahashi. That was the show from the 24th.
Yes, and the show before was on the 20th.
Mm-hmm. Wrestling Red Zone, which took place yesterday on the 25th in Hiroshima. We had Tatsuya Matsumoto defeat Taisei Nakahara in the Battles of the Young Lions. Master Wato, Shota Umino, Toru Yano, and Yo defeated House of Torture members Chase Owens, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. The United Empire's Francisco Akira, the Great Khan, and Hanare defeated Master Yasuda, Ryusuke Taguchi, and Taichi. Aaron Wolf, Oleg Bolton, Tiger Mask, and Togi Makabe. They went up against the House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, Doki, and Ren Narita. That ended up in a no contest. TMDK's Hartley Jackson and Ryohei Oiwa defeated Tomoaki Hama and Yuri Uemura. The United Empire's Callum Newman, Jake Lee, Jacob Austin Young, and Zane J defeated Unbound Co's Daiki Nagai, Gato, Shingo Takagi, and Yoda Tsuji for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. We had the Ichiban Sweet Boys of Kosei Fujita and Robbie Eagles beat the Unbound Co's Robbie X and Taiji Ishimori in a title change, which now makes the Ichiban Sweet Boys three-time IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions. And then for the IWGP Tag Team title match, the match that people should go back and watch because the Knockout Brothers don't know how to have a bad match. The Knockout Brothers went up into a match against Bishiman. Bishiman has been the longest standing tag team in New Japan in the last 5 to 7 years. They've been wanting this match. The Knockout Brothers did. They got this match based on Bishiman's win in the previous show, and the Knockout Brothers ended up defeating Bishiman in one hell of a tag team match, folks. Go back and watch this. The Knockout Brothers are the best tag team in professional wrestling today. Yes, I said it.
Go back and watch this. I was like, this is why I watch New Japan. The rest of the stuff I could have did without, but this is why I watch New Japan.
Man, the Knockout Brothers are just doing the work right now, man. So I have a feeling, depending as to whoever are the AEW Tag Team Champions at the time of Forbidden Door, they'll be taking on the Knockout Brothers, and hopefully we'll have a banger of a match with whoever are the AEW Tag Team Champions against the Knockout Brothers, because the Knockout Brothers are not losing those Tag Team Championships anytime soon.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time is it. What time is it? Preview time, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to preview the upcoming week. It'll be from today, the 26th, to the 2nd of May. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start out with New Japan Pro Wrestling because we're still on the road to Dontaku.
All right, Road to Dontaku. This is the show from this morning, folks. So we'll have the results for you for this show next week. But we had Robbie X versus Taisei Nakahara, a Great Bash heel tag team of Togi Makabe and Tomoaki Hama. They'll go up against the Knockout Brothers in a special tag team match of Oscar and Yuto Ice. Ryusuke Taguchi, Shota Umino, and Yo are going to go up against House of Torture members Chase Owens, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. United Empire's Francesco Akira, Great O'Connor, and Hanare are going to go up against the Goto Revolutionary Army of Hiroki Goto, Tatsuya Matsumoto, and Yoshihashi. Masaturi Yasuda, Master Wato, Taichi, and Yu Uemura are going to go up against Team DK members Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. Aaron Wolf, Oleg Bolton, Tiger Mask, and Toru Yano are going to go up against House of Torture members Don Fale, Doki, Ren Narita, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And for the main event of the night, it's going to be the United Empire's Callum Newman, Jake Lee, and Jacob Austin Young, along with Jane J, going up against the Unbound Codes, Daiki Nagai, Shingo Takagi, Taiji Ishimori, and Yo. And on for the 27th, more Road 2, Wrestling Dontaku. Robbie X is going to go up against Taisei Nakahara yet again. Great Bash Heels are going to go up against the Knockout Brothers again on the 27th. Taguchi, Shota Umino, and Yo are going to go up against Chase Owens, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. The United Empire's Francesco Akira, Great O'Connor, and Hanare are going to go up against the Goto Revolutionary Army of Hiroki Goto, Tatsuya Matsumoto, and Yoshihashi. Yasuda, Wato, Taichi, and Uemura going against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. Aaron Wolf, Oleg Bolton, Tiger Mask, and Toru Yano will head off against House of Torture members Don Fale, Doki, Ren Narita, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And then the United Empire's Callum Newman, Jake Lee, Jacob Austin Young, and Zane J will go up against Unbound Codes, Daiki Nagai, Shingo Takagi, Taiji Ishimori, and Yota Tsuji. We then have another Road to Wrestling Dontaku show, which will take place on the 29th. It's going to be Wrestling Heizen no Kuni on the 29th of April. Master Wato, Shota Umino, Taisei Nakahara, and Yo will go up against House of Torture members Chase Owens, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. Tomoaki Hama and Toru Yano will go up against the Knockout Brothers of Oscar and Yuto Ice. Master Yasuda, Ryusuke Taguchi, Taichi, and Yu Uemura go up against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. United Empire's Great O'Con, Hanare, and Jacob Austin Young will go up against the Goto Revolutionary Army of Hiroki Goto, Tatsuya Matsumoto, and Yoshi Hashi. Aaron Wolf, Mystico, Oleg Bolton will have a trios match against House of Torture members Dick Togo, Don Fale, and Ren Narita. The United Empire's Callum Newman, Francesco Akira, Jake Lee, and Zane J will go up against Unbound Codes, Robbie X, Shingo Takagi, Taiji Ishimori, and Yota Tsuji. And for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title, we're going to have Doki go up against Tiger Mask in a one-on-one championship match. On to the 30th, another Road 2 show for Wrestling Dontaku. Robbie X will take on Taisei Nakahara again. Taguchi and Yano will go up against the Knockout Brothers here in their special tag match. Shota Umino, Tomoaki Hama, and Yo will face off against House of Torture in the trios match. Chase Owens, Sho, and Yujiro Takahashi. United Empire's Francesco Akira, the Great O'Connor, and Hanare in another trios match against the Goto Revolutionary Army of Hiroki Goto, Tatsuya Matsumoto, and Yoshihashi. Yasuda, Mystico, Taichi, and Uemura will go up against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. Aaron Wolf, Master Wato, Oleg Bolton, and Tiger Mask will go up against House of Torture members Don Fale, Doki, Ren Narita, and Yoshinobu Kanemaru. And then to end the night, it's going to be United Empire's Callum Newman, Jake Lee, Jacob Austin Young, and Zane J to go up against Unbound Codes, Daiki Nagai, Shingo Takagi, Taiji Ishimori, and Yota Tsuji. On the first, another Road 2 show, we're going to see the Young Lions take on one another, Daiki Nagai versus Taisei Nakahara. Tomoaki Hama and Toru Yano will go up against the Knockout Brothers. Taguchi, Umino, and Yo will go up against the House of Torture in a trios match. Chase Owens, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. The United Empire's Francesco Akira, the Great O'Connor, and Hanare. They'll go up against the Goto Revolutionary Army of Hiroki Goto, Tatsuya Matsumoto, and Yoshihashi. Yasuda, Wato, Taichi, and Uemura will go up against TMDK's Hartley Jackson, Kosei Fujita, Robbie Eagles, and Ryohei Oiwa. Aaron Wolf, Mystico, Oleg Bolton, and Tiger Mask in the 8-man match will go up against House of Torture members Don Fale, Doki, Ren Narita, and Sho. And to end the night, we're going to have the United Empire's Callum Newman, Jake Lee, Jacob Austin Young, and Zane J go up against Unbound Codes, Robbie X, Shingo Takagi, Taiji Ishimori, and Yota Tsuji.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Now it's my turn because I got the House of Glory, ladies and gentlemen. HOG. HOG will be having a show on the 1st on Trilla TV. It's called Glory at the Globe. Ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please. I tell you, HOG puts on bangers. We don't really have a slide for this because they only had 2 matches. For the HOG Crown Jewel title match, Zilla Fatu, the champion, will face against Lance Anoa'i. We have Amazing Red versus Mike Bailey. On to the next show on the same day on Triller TV. It's GCW. That's that hardcore wrestling that your girl love. A little blood, a little violence. I love it. It is GCW, ladies and gentlemen. And GCW is on the 1st, and their show is called Express Lane. We'll have 2 matches just like before. It'll be Joey Janela versus Ken Dixon, VNDL48, which consists of Atticus Cougar, Christian Napier, Otis Cougar versus Don Freeze, Ricky Morton, and Ruckus. Ladies and gentlemen, I might need a little help, okay? I might need a little help. Because the next show, I can't wait to see, but I struggle to fight for my life to pronounce. CMLL, MLW will be having a show on the 1st, ladies and gentlemen. It will be, let me put J News in the back with me. CMLL.
Viernes Espectacular. So spectacular. Yes. It's going to be CMLL versus MLW 2026. So this is gonna take place on May 1st, which is this coming Friday. We're gonna see Ikaru Kwan and Okumura versus Los Hermanos Calavera Jr. The first, and Calavera Jr. the second. Lady Frost will be taking place on the MLW side as she recently signed with MLW. She'll be going 1-on-1 versus Olympia. Diego Hill is going to go 1-on-1 against Neon. Austin Aries and Trevor Lee, they'll be going up against Los Hermanos. I believe is it Chavez? Los Hermanos Chavez, Angel Del Oro. Oh no, it's not. It's just Angel Del Oro and Soberano Jr. My bad, folks. MLW World Tag Team match is going to be the Skyscrapers of Bishop Dyer and Donovan Dijak, the champions, going up against Los Infernales of Averno and Euforia. MLW's Women's World Featherweight title match is going to have Shotzi Blackheart, the champion, go up against Garra Negra. And MLW World Middleweight title match, we're going to have the champion Kushida go 1-on-1 versus Templario.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to experience a new wrestling, see high flyers, you can watch this on YouTube. And I believe it will also be on both channels. So MLW definitely comes on YouTube. It's called Major League Wrestling. So make sure you go check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, last match, last thing on the 2nd on Triller TV from my people at GCW. Oh, I love the violence. It is one night only, 2026. Ladies and gentlemen, it's only one match listed, and that's Nick Gage going versus Bear Bronson. Dear Lord, let's pray for Nick Gage because he might get snapped in half. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end. Oh, this is the song that doesn't end. But it's going to end right now. Because we got to go on, my friend. Let's go back to the studio. Wait a minute. Don't bring me in the studio and also put me in J News seat like we don't know each other. Ladies and gentlemen, you already know what time it is. It's time for J News to tell you a little bit more about himself.
As always, folks, as you can see here, if it's your first time watching, that's my QR code there in the corner. My QR code takes you to all of my different socials, be it on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd. I do written reviews for movies that I watch on a weekly basis and that I go to the movie theater to watch, and as well as the link to True Heel Heat's podcast on YouTube, where I am a recurring member of the New Japan reviews and previews and AEW as well. So you'll see me on the True Heel Heat podcast on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, as we preview Wrestling Duntaku. So you can check me out there. And then obviously you'll see me here again on the Hit the Ropes Wrestling podcast next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As usual, thank y'all for chiming in and watching. Appreciate y'all. Delores, take it away.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, let me get J News back down here with me. As you all know, I'm going through some changes, figuring out some things, getting the schedule together, trying to get my website up. Yes, I did. Supposed to be getting a new computer. I got a lot of stuff going on, okay? So As far as me, you all still can email me, still can reach out to me. It is QR code, okay? Because you know your girl is a graphic designer. If you didn't know, I'm Delores of Delores Designs. Listen there. Look at it. Look at that cute woman sitting in the pink clouds of a pink, wonderful world. And if you say, Delores, I'm not a QR person, I got you. Okay? You can reach out through email, through the phone number. You can text and call that number. For those who are maybe like not used to it, they're like, Delores, why did you put your number on the internet? That is not my direct line. So you don't have to worry about that. I am very safe. I'm very precautious. And I teach tech. I talk about all these things. Right now, I haven't did any tech videos on YouTube because if you haven't seen my good sister Ten's live, some people like to take your stuff and run with it. And I've had that happen enough where I'm like, not going to do it, not going to be me. Also, if you haven't not checked out, please go support theeducatednatural.com. Was it educatednatural.com? Also, go over to her channel, The Educated Natural. Join her membership. Go over there and show some support. Show over there. She's over there dropping gems and everything else. Make sure I'm clicking around because all my little things are out of order. Workhorse Wrestling Network. If you haven't, go gallop on over there to Workhorse Wrestling Network. Go check them out. They do a lot of AEW content, play a lot of games, have a lot of fun. I'm going to have to get Jay News back over there one day. One day, Jay News going to come over there. Because he'd be over there stumping when he was coming over there, just wiping us out. I'm like, listen, I brought you over here, friend, to help me win, and you over here just beating me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked out Miss Shirley, the OG Gardener, please do. Mind you, I'm sorry if I'm not. I got a whole bunch of things. They all look the same. They ain't got no labels on them. I just, oh, God. Miss Shirley, the OG Gardener, live every Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't catch our last Thursday, it was fun because she was like, yeah, men have been gardening, but has women changed the scene and made it better? And if you did not see the thumbnail we made, it was fun. Miss Shirley was out there saving these men, J News, in the garden. She literally was a superhero. So it's always fun over Miss Shirley. You get to catch Annie the cat in some of the videos. So please go check her out. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to say it every single time this comes up. And that's because me and J News have to leave and I don't want to be going nowhere. But J News and I have every single time burned it down. This time we gave you a little something new. We gave you hot topics. Listen, we always try to keep it under 2 hours or around 2 hours. And we've done that today, even with the hot topics. Even when it was burning down, we come and saved you. We prepared you for the future. Okay? I feel like Raven Baxter. I can see into the future. Okay? But ladies and gentlemen, just like I said, every week, Seth Rollins, we come in this thing, fire blazing, burning it down. And guess what I got to do every week? Me and J. Lou, we got to save you every week. And every week, I got to do something to help you just cool off the fire, put the fire out. And at the end of the show is to cut the lights off. Is that cool breeze? I do too. Y'all don't hear the fan working in the background. You know your girl was hot. You know the hot chocolate made me hot. So I had to just get a breeze, okay? Now you can feel the breeze. What's that song? Feel the breeze on your skin or something like that? Feel the wind on your skin. That's what it is. Feel the wind on your skin. No, that's, yeah. They knew that, you know, I can go there. I put it out the bag deep. I had to go in the bag real deep for that one. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for supporting us. Sorry we were late, but StreamYard started us and stopped us, okay? But we were here and we did the work, okay? So now, go watch wrestling, come back. And also, if you have any comments when J News page your mind, please tell us what you thought about the hot topics and tell us your opinion. Because we like to know. We want to hear from you. Until then, me and J News want to tell you, peace.